My beloved brothers and sisters, many times in life, people enter into relationships thinking it is all good. You believe she is the one. You convince yourself that everything is fine. But deep down inside your heart whispers that something is off. You notice the little cracks, the little signs, yet you brush them aside because you don't want to face the truth. You tell yourself, maybe I'm just overthinking. Maybe it will get better. But let me remind you, Allah has blessed you with peace of mind, with dignity, and with self-respect. These are gifts you must never allow anyone to destroy. When a relationship begins to chip away at your confidence, when it starts making you doubt yourself, when you find that instead of growing you are shrinking, instead of thriving you are merely surviving, that is no longer love. That is a burden. Real love should never strip you of your happiness. It should never make you question your worth. A true partner will honor your boundaries, respect your time, and stand by you in honesty. But if you are with someone who constantly manipulates, disrespects, or drags you down, then my brothers and sisters, you need to be brave enough to ask yourself the hard question. Is this really what Allah wants for me? Because let me tell you, if your woman does these toxic things, it is not a small matter of overthinking. It is a matter of protecting your mental health, your peace, and your very soul. And if you do not walk away, one day you will wake up a shadow of yourself broken, confused, and empty. That is not what you deserve. So today, let us be real. If you notice these red flags, if you see these signs, it is not weakness to leave. In fact, sometimes the strongest thing you can ever do for yourself is to walk away. Sometimes in a relationship, the very thing that slowly destroys you is not the shouting, not the arguments, not even the visible fights, but the quiet twisting of your reality. You begin to notice something is not right, but when you speak up, you are made to feel like you imagined it. You are told you are overthinking, that you are being too sensitive, that you have misunderstood. Over time, you begin to question your own memory, your own feelings, even your own mind. This is gaslighting, and it is one of the most dangerous forms of emotional manipulation, because it makes you lose trust in yourself. When someone you love constantly denies your reality, rewrites your experiences, or makes you feel like you are the problem, you slowly start doubting every thought that comes into your head. Instead of standing firm, you begin to shrink. Instead of having confidence, you start apologizing for things that are not your fault. At first, you may think it is a small thing. You may convince yourself that everyone makes mistakes, that maybe you are misunderstanding her words. But slowly, little by little, you notice that every time something goes wrong, you are the one who ends up confused. You are the one who feels guilty. You are the one who walks away thinking, maybe I really am the problem. This is not love. This is not care. This is a deliberate tactic that chips away at your mental health. A partner who loves you will listen when you say, "That hurt me." They will acknowledge your feelings, even if they disagree. They will never make you feel like you imagined your pain. The danger of gaslighting is that it makes you a stranger to yourself. You begin to lose your voice, because you are afraid it will be mocked. You lose your strength, because every time you try to stand up, you are pushed back down with words that twist the truth. You lose your trust in your own eyes, your own ears, your own memory. That is not a relationship. That is a prison built with invisible walls. And no matter how much you love someone, if they are constantly breaking you from the inside, then you need to recognize it for what it is. Real love gives you clarity, not confusion. Real love builds your confidence, not destroys it. If someone repeatedly makes you question your sanity, just to win an argument or hide their mistakes, then you are not in a partnership. You are in a battle that you can never win. You deserve better than that. You deserve to be with someone who values your truth, who listens to your heart, who accepts your experiences as real. If you stay where you are gaslighted, you will eventually lose yourself completely. But if you walk away, you will rediscover your strength, your voice, and your worth. And that is far too precious to be handed over to someone who does not honor it. In every healthy relationship, boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your well-being, your dignity, and your peace of mind. They are not walls meant to keep people out, they are the foundations that help love to flourish with respect and balance. When you say, "I need some space today," or "this behavior makes me uncomfortable," you are not being unreasonable. You are honoring your own emotional needs, and setting limits that allow both you and your partner to feel safe. But when those boundaries are consistently ignored, mocked, or crossed, then it is no longer love, it is control disguised as affection. At first, it may look harmless. You say you need rest, and she insists on your attention anyway. You express that a certain action bothers you, and she laughs it off as if your feelings are unimportant. You ask for respect in certain areas, and she rolls her eyes as though you are being dramatic. But the truth is, every time your boundaries are disrespected, a piece of you is stolen. Your peace is disturbed, your time is wasted, and your dignity is chipped away. A partner who truly cares will respect your limits, even when they don't fully understand them. They will value your comfort because they value you. The problem is that once you allow someone to repeatedly cross your boundaries, you begin to lose your own sense of self. You start to question whether your needs are valid. You silence yourself to avoid conflict. You convince yourself that it is easier to give in than to stand your ground. Over time, you end up living according to someone else's terms, forgetting that you too have the right to be heard and respected. This is how relationships become toxic, not through one big explosion, but through small daily acts of disregard. Boundaries are not about control, they are about respect. They tell your partner, "This is how I expect to be treated. This is what I need to feel safe and valued." If she cannot honor that, then she is not treating you as an equal. She is treating you as someone whose needs are less important than her own. That is not love. That is selfishness. And no amount of excuses, no amount of promises, can replace the basic foundation of respect. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, it is a clear sign that they do not truly respect you. And if you continue in that relationship, you will find yourself drained, constantly giving, constantly bending, until you break. You were not created to live like that. You were created with worth, with dignity, with the right to peace. A partner who loves you will protect those rights, not strip them away. Do not settle for someone who ignores your boundaries. Protect your peace, protect your dignity, protect yourself. Because once you lose those things, they are not easily regained. And the truth is, if someone cannot respect your limits, they cannot respect your love either. One of the clearest signs of an unhealthy relationship is when your partner always plays the victim. At first, it might not seem obvious. She may present her side of the story in such a convincing way that you feel sympathy for her, even when she is the one in the wrong. But as time passes, you begin to notice a pattern. No matter what happens, it is always somehow your fault. She lies, but she blames you for not giving her enough attention. She shouts, but she claims you pushed her to it. She makes a mistake, but she insists you did not support her enough. Slowly, you start carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you. You begin to question yourself in situations where you have done nothing wrong. The problem with someone who constantly plays the victim is that they are avoiding responsibility. They wear the mask of helplessness not because they are genuinely suffering, but because it shields them from accountability. This creates a cycle where you are always the one apologizing, always the one trying to fix things, always the one walking on eggshells to avoid another round of blame. It drains your energy and eats away at your self-esteem. You start to feel like no matter what you do, it will never be enough, because she has already decided that you are the villain in every story. A healthy relationship requires honesty and balance. Both people must be willing to admit when they are wrong, to take ownership of their actions, and to work together to improve. But when one person refuses to accept any fault, there is no room for growth. You cannot build a partnership with someone who uses every disagreement as a stage to portray themselves as the wounded party. Over time, this turns into emotional abuse. You are manipulated into believing that you are the cause of every problem, that you are the one destroying the relationship, while she continues to escape responsibility. It is exhausting to live like that. It is like carrying a weight that does not belong to you, day after day, until you are too tired to stand. You begin to believe the lies. You start to see yourself as the problem, and slowly, you lose sight of your own truth. That is the power of someone who plays the victim. They make you forget who you are by convincing you that you are always wrong. But you must remind yourself love is not about blame. Love is not about